I love that we all come together to support one another, to help really drive and boost the industry that we are in.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our final session of the week. Just some house rules for those of you who have not yet joined us on our webinars. We are streaming live on Facebook and Instagram, but that can be temperamental, especially Instagram. So if you find that you're having technical problems, please head over to our Facebook page, Professional Beauty GCC. I think it's PBGCC exactly. There will be an opportunity to ask Nergish questions at the end of the session, so please pop your questions into the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and I will ask those questions on your behalf. So, Nergish, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Nergish today will be talking on her top tips for keeping customers engaged and committed to your business. So, I will leave you to it. I will switch my screen off, and all the best, and I will see you at the end.
Thank you, Emma. Right, hello everybody, I'm Nergish. For those of you who know me, thank you very much for joining me and supporting me. For those of you who don't, I'll do a very quick introduction and then get on with, I guess, what we were hoping to talk about today. So my name is Nergish Wadia-Austin. I am a qualified ex-Sassoon hairdresser, a colorist with Vidal-Sassoon. I come from a family of, I guess, very ambitious Zoroastrian parents. So, of course, they wanted me to know everything about hairdressing, beauty, etc. So I'm also, incidentally, a qualified beauty therapist. It's helped me because I'm able to speak from a hairdressing point of view and beauty point of view. For the last 40 years, I've been in this industry. And I've learned a lot from it. And what I will tell you is that the last 21 years of that, I have basically designed management courses, management seminars around the world. And I teach good business practice, basically, to people who own their salons, their barbershops, and their spas. So really, that's my specialty. I'm not going to waste any more time with that. I want to give you as much that you can take away from today. So let me go to my next script sheet. We've had a little bit of difficulty with the technical issues here. So I'm going to be using, I'm going to be basically talking about what you can use on 3 topics. The topics that I'm going to talk about today are tips to keep your team focused during the lockdown, which is something that I've been asked over and over again about. Ways to keep your customers engaged and committed to your business while this is happening. And I'm going to tell you all the ways in which you can do that. And last but not least, what aspects of your business you may need to change or rethink when you return to the business. So those are the 3 topics that we're going to talk about. But I really don't want to start without telling you about the mindset of going into this lockdown. And really, that's what I'd like to talk about. So I want people to be able to thrive during this time at home. Could we take this off the screen, please? Oh, I see. We've had another technical difficulty, so I apologize about that. I want people to stay positive during this, and it's all very easy saying be positive. What I did was I learned a lot of little techniques for myself at home and how to run my business with a positive mindset. And I want to give you those tips. And I'd love for you to share those tips with your staff as well. So the first rule to remember is if you can't control it, don't worry about it. Let it go because it's a waste of your energy and your time. So that's the first thing to remember while you're all at home just now. there are plenty of things you do have control over and that you can control. And it's those things that I actually feel that we should all concentrate on. So let's start with that. What are the things that you have control over? Well, first and foremost, your health. So basically, just please make sure that you're looking after your health right now, because you're going to need every ounce of your energy when you go back to your business. You're going to have to lead a team. You're going to have to deal with customers. You're going to have to deal with overwhelming rush when you get back. You're going to have to deal with, money worries. You're going to have to deal with a lot of things. Right now is the time to take care of your health. The second thing you have control over is your mental well-being, which means, can you be positive during this time? And the answer is yes. A few little tips that I learned was, when you're listening to music, make sure it's happier, upbeat music. Regardless of what you normally listen to, it's probably helpful to watch less of the news, although you do need to have it. You don't need to watch it several times a day, perhaps just once or twice a day. Tune in, dip in, dip out. Watch things that make you happy. Comedy for us in Britain is readily available, and I think we rely on that, and it gives us a really good perspective of even the most ghastly things in life. The other thing you have is control about how much time you spend with your family. And so the division of your time to do with work and spending time with family, I learned that I had to respect my need for privacy myself at some portions of the day, and everyone else's need to be private in the day. So that's one good way of coping. It sort of almost lessens the arguments and the stress around you. I believe treating people as equals, although my children will laugh at you saying I've never treated them like equals. Sharing chores and decision-making in the household, that's been very helpful. Scheduling time to chat, especially with young teens, taking that time in the day to chat to people about how their day has been and what they've spent time doing. Of course, you've got homework to deal with. You've got a lot of things to deal with for those of you who have families. Those of you who are single, now would be the time to get in touch with all your old friends, etc. Taking on a weekly project at home is probably not a bad idea at all. That actually tends to focus the mind very quickly. So see, I'm saying it's not just about work. I'm going to be talking to you about all the things you have to do for work in a moment, but these are all other things that you will need to get on top of. And I found these the best way to do them in a positive manner. If there's something you've always wanted to learn, now's the time to research it on the internet. There's an awful lot of clever people out there sharing their information. Now's the time to go visit it. If there were certain recipes you wanted to learn about, now's the time to do it. And volunteering. If you're an able-bodied person and you have the time to volunteer, that would be something very positive to do during that time. So here's some of the tips that I learned and I wanted to share with you at being positive during this time. Now it's about the control that you have in running your business during the lockdown, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Feel free to share this with your employees. I think they'll get something out of this, absolutely. Now, if there's a portion of this when I'm talking about it, these are the 3 topics that I'm talking to you about. As I said, tips to keep your team focused is what we will go into first. It's at that moment, if you wouldn't mind, if anything occurs to you, there is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. If you wouldn't mind asking those questions to Emma, that would be incredibly helpful. And Emma will actually call them out to me after I've spent as much time as I need to go through my presentation. Emma will then bring up your questions to me. If you like what you hear, write it down. You may want to ask questions. Please keep them till the end of the session. Right. So we're going on to tips to keep your teams focused during the lockdown. So here's what I found most useful. You have to start by letting the team know what's happening to your business. Everyone in your team needs to know the bigger picture of your business, which is that there are this many expenses coming in, there's no money coming through the doors, these are the difficulties you're facing. Your team must be told this in order to gain understanding of your situation. If you hide it, it's not going to help you. If you exaggerate it, it's not going to help you. Just be factual. What I know about teams and what I know about people, everybody is fighting to keep their jobs. If they want to go look for another position, they'll do it now. But the people that have been loyal to you, the people that love being in your business, the people that have helped you, everyone is out there to support you. So be honest with your team, it will pay dividends. Explain to them what their part is in helping your business to stay afloat and open. I've dealt with so many people on the phone to me talking about their business and it being in difficulty. Share the information with your staff. A lot of people live locally to you. They will not want to see you go under. They will want to be supportive and helpful. So share that information and watch how they step up. Believe me, it's actually quite delightful to watch them help you. Further communication that you want to have with them during the lockdown has to be of some purpose. So the things that I found that you can communicate with people about are giving them information and updates about your business, asking them to improve their performance in certain areas. Now, what areas would that be? Those areas that you have noticed in their reviews that they have not been on top of at their best levels. So you'll have people who perform very well in retail. I'm giving you an example. There'll be people who perform very well in selling during normal times. There'll be people who are very good with color. There are people that are very good in beauty, to do with getting waxing customers to trial out their facials. So they're very good at hooking customers onto further services than they originally came in for. I know it's called upselling, but it's more than that. I don't mean on the day. I want customers who are happy with their waxing treatments to come back and trial a facial with you. I want those same facial customers, if they've got any concerns with their nails, to then come in and trial you guys out for nails. It's the same thing in hairdressing. It's about trialing out other services in your business. Now, some people are good at that in your location, and some people won't be. It's those issues that you want to deal with right now. You've got the time. And you can actually do this on a one-on-one basis with individuals in your salon, or you can collect them in little groups. So for example, if you've got very strong retailers, there's no point in talking to them about retailing and getting their skills better. But if there are a core group of people that aren't confident with recommending the right solutions to customers, those are the people you want to do the training with. And so you can group them together and talk to them together about that. So I would recommend not just randomly talking to everyone about everything, because it can get quite dull for the people who are very skilled at it. Better yet, use skilled people to talk about that with the people that find it difficult. So there are many ways of doing this, but make sure that when you're talking to someone during lockdown, it is with a purpose. It is obviously to improve their skills. You know, we all have a set of skills going into the lockdown, but we don't have to emerge from the lockdown with the same set of skills. We can always better them. And that's the point of this, is taking the time to better those skills. So give me a moment. Basically, I said to you that it was a question of communicating with updates and information. It's a question of letting them know to better their performance and their knowledge-based skills, their learning, their knowledge and their skill sets. So in knowledge, what would it be? I mean, I've gone into many salons. For those of you who know me, I have a particular bugbear that everyone does not know everything about the products that you guys retail in your salons. Now would be the time to get everyone up on their product knowledge. Go to the manufacturers, it's just an email, and just say to them, can you send me an electronic copy of your list that describes all their products, etc., and then send a copy out to your staff and make sure they know their products. it's never been okay not to know your products, but now would be the time to make sure nobody has an excuse not to know what it is that they're talking about. And last but not least, it's about practicing skills. It's about, there are some people that blow dry hair very well. There are some people that finish off facials with a flair and with, just their service is better. Now's the time to get the people that don't provide that service up to scratch. And it's about raising standards. Practicing. Hairdressers will need a dummy head, basically. That's something that you can order online and get it sent to them. If there is particular people that don't blow dry really well, now's the time to do it. In beauty, I do have to say, some of the things that I found happening in spas and in beauty salons is that the techniques used are, forgive me for saying it, they aren't as lovely as the ones whose customers rebook for facials. That will be a key indicator. If someone is doing facials and doesn't have a line of people waiting for them to return to those facials, the technique has not been as good as the ones who are in fact having customers line up outside the doors to book a facial with that person. So one, it's the observation of that facialist. So maybe ask the people that are very good at facials in your salon to basically talk them through what they do with the team, the little group of people that aren't as good at it. So use that as the time to get people to discuss it. But I'll tell you in beauty what is definitely a weakness that I've seen all over the world wherever I've taught. And that is how to talk a customer that is coming in for a basic service of hair removal, whether that's waxing, whether that's electrolysis, whether that's IPL. It's taking those customers into trialing out facials, into trialing out body treatments. And a lot of beauty therapists don't know how to do that, how to make that leap and talk to them about the other new services that are out there. So here's a tip. If you are running a beauty salon or have a spa, now would be the time to ask your beauty therapist to talk you through the things they talk to their customer about. And you will quickly find where the holes are in the conversations. You'll quickly find where the holes are in the sale lead lines. So if a customer is talking about their flaky skin and the beauty therapist does not immediately recommend the correct solution, and in fact just continues to talk on about what she's doing with her service right now, you do know that that's where the sales are lost. That's where the revenues are lost. Now is the time to get them to demonstrate what conversation goes on in their beauty rooms with you. Remember, great consultations in beauty and hairdressing can be taught. So let's go on to the next thing. See, let me tell you the 3 key areas in hairdressing that have always been somewhat worrisome to people. I can tell you flat out that in hairdressing, some of the worries are to do with long hair. So you'll have certain people in the salon that do your long hair customers, but others that will shy away from long hair. So therefore you're limited to the number of people that can help you with wedding customers and wedding parties. That is so not necessary anymore. Everyone should be good at doing long hair. So if you can talk your long hair experts in your salon, or what the heck, there is a sea of long hair experts out there. I'd love to talk to you about them. I don't even know whether I can or should, but this is my personal opinion. If you want long hair tutoring, someone that I know that I've gone to myself is Patrick Cameron. I mean, the man's a genius with long hair, but it's not limited to him. There are very many people out there that are doing long hair seminars. You've just got to Google it, add in there. But get people to watch it and practice it. Please, now is the time to upskill your staff. And that should really be their goals. That should be saying to people who keep saying, no, I'm afraid of long hair, therefore I won't take a long-haired customer. and say to them, I don't want to hear that. When we emerge from lockdown, I want you to have tried out at least 3 of these looks, and help them to find the people. You're the managers, you help them to find the videos they need to watch, the styles they need to practice for your business. The second real worry for people who do both male and female hairdressing is that hairdressers who concentrate on ladies hairdressing often worry about their male barbering skills. Now, as far as I'm concerned, hairdressers in this country certainly have to be all-rounded and skilled. I know in the UAE that may not necessarily be true in a lot of the businesses. But again, there are barbering salon, there are barbershop managers that are listening today. So if there is a skill that is not up to scratch when it comes to shading, or when it comes to scissor over combing skills, or just find out what is lacking with individuals and get them to watch the appropriate training videos. That's your job. That's what you have control over right now during lockdown. Don't worry about the news, worry about this. This is something that can make a difference to your revenues. Next, beauty examples. I'm so sorry I'm referring to notes, but it's old age. Memory goes first. Right. So yeah, basically we've covered a lot of the topics. I've talked to you about product knowledge, and I know there's a lot of people from all around the world watching, particularly in the UK and stuff. When it comes to furloughed employees, I understand that you are not allowed to ask them to go through training and stuff that will actually relate back to their salon business, but you can always suggest it, and if they want to join in, they can. You're not asking them to join it, but you can suggest it. Right, so that's a topic that I've covered. I would like you, can we move this? Perfect. So that's a topic I've covered. If you have any questions about that, now would be the time to write them down to Emma via the Q&A. Okay, now let's talk about keeping customers engaged during this lockdown. Okay, the best way to keep customers engaged is to use your best tool, communication tool. That might be email, that might be Facebook, that might be Instagram. If I've left anything else out, I tend to talk to businesses, therefore I tend to use LinkedIn a lot more. It depends on what you use to communicate with your customers. So what are the things that you would communicate with your customers about that would be helpful to them and not irritating at this time? So let's talk about that. I would inform them about things like, you've got a waiting list happening. You're going to give priority to your customers that actually register on your waiting list, so that as soon as your country gives you permission to return back to work, the customers that have gone on your waiting list will get their priority. Well, they go straight to the top of the pile and you'll call them back first, or you'll send them an email first. So make a priority list with a bonus. I think it's a good idea in every country that you're based in to give some sort of a thank you type of, I would recommend it, a thank you type of discount or an honoring to your health workers, your carers, your teachers, and everyone that's kept the country running at that time. That might be a great gesture. So if you do know people's careers, and that's one of the things that you've been taking down as data, and so that might not be a bad thing to let them know about. That if they are in fact people who are, carers or health workers or people that run services, basic services, essential services, key workers really in any country, that would be a good way to extend a thank you. But that's the type of information you want to let them know. That's the type of information they'll be happy to know about during the lockdown. Inform them of things that their concerns. If your customers have concerns, an email saying, listen, if you've got a particular concern, feel free, we're happy to do online consultations. if there's a particular concern you have. For example, there are lots of people panicking about their regrowth, and in hairdressing, they're desperately concerned about their gray hair coming through, or the line that's coming through. And just say to them what your advice is. If you're a salon that's pro hair coloring from supermarkets, then talk them through it. If you're a salon that is absolutely deadly against it, then tell them why you are deadly against it. Explain to them with facts what the dangers are. And then say to them that instead, why don't you change your parting? Let me show you a way you can clip your hair. It'd be very helpful if you then sell those clips on and say, fine, we'll put some in the post to you. And this is the range of hair accessories that you can buy right now in order to do that. So again, it's not the act of selling, but if there is a concern that you can solve and you are in business, that's what you can do for them. The next thing to talk about is in beauty. Let me give you the same examples in beauty. There might be mothers out there with teenagers whose skin is breaking out right now. Now's the time for beauty salons to turn around and say, let me talk to your teenager while you're there on the consultation, and let's talk to your teenager and find out what they're using and what they're doing in order to cause this. If your spa is into features wellness in a major way, now's the time to talk that through with the teenager. What is their routine? What are they eating? What's causing the skin to break out so much more? So it's about finding out what the customers have a concern for. So just think through the regular concerns someone who is a hair client might have. It could be regrowth, it could be dullness of color, it could be split ends at the bottom, it could be dry hair, it could be lack of shine. These are all things that you can actually advise and supply. Same with beauty. Again, think about the concerns. It's dryness of skin. It could be the lines are showing up a lot more. What sort of facial exercises can we do to make sure that the jaw is not slacking because we haven't been coming for our particular, facials. So we're a little bit worried about that. This is the time to talk to customers about their concerns, give them helpful tips, and solve it if you can. Now, of course, solving these concerns, meaning shipping out the solutions, may vary from person to person. I know people that live above their salon, therefore they can supply the product straight away. I know people who live in countries where the lockdown is so severe they can't get out of the house, so then you can't do it. There is no one single solution for all of you that are listening out there. But for every one of you that has a different circumstance, that's what people have been calling me about. So each person's circumstances are different. You will have my details and my contact details as to how to get in touch with me. That's what you want to talk through. Feel free to do it. Many of you have, and many of you continue to. So, object of the exercise is to make sure that the contact between you and the customer is real. And of course, it's not irritating for them because it's helping them with their issues. So I've noticed some of the salons using some of their staff to do these little sessions. In fact, what is a great idea that I've noticed out there that you are in fact actually doing is just one-off videos as to what someone is very skilled at doing in your salon. So if there's someone out there that's very skilled at braiding, then teach the mums at home how to braid their children's hair. And that's a quick little tip, and say, if you're interested in this, is the way to do it. With barber shops, I think there are so many men. In fact, my LinkedIn post yesterday was of my dearest friend. He's a banker in the Middle East. And he basically wrote saying he communicates and still works for his bank, and he's the vice president, but he works for the bank and he's constantly on Zoom, meeting after meeting after meeting. And of course, as they're waiting for the meetings, all these businessmen all they can talk about for the 10 minutes that they have to wait till all the technical stuff goes up on these meetings is they complain about their hair being unmanageable and their hair being ridiculous and how much they miss their barbers and their stylists. Now would be the time to contact them or send out an email to them if you've got their information to say, having concerns about your hair, we can send you the wax that you require, or the pomade that you require, or to hold the hair back off your face. Now's the time to say, certainly with barbershops, if you're selling clippers and beard trimming equipment and stuff, now's the time you're needed. That is a revenue, that is a stream that is possible. So you've got to work out what it is you can and cannot do. In some countries, this is going to be possible. In other countries, it's not. In some cases, salon owners will have access to their business, and some salon owners may not have access to their business. And beauty examples, quick lessons for teenagers. Guys, don't underestimate how much teenagers and households of your customers are your future clients. Please, if there's anything you do, help the parents to work this through for their kids as well. If there are kids' concerns, now's the time to help them with it. I think I've covered everything on that topic. If you have any questions, please write that out to Emma. And I'm sure there will be questions of how to do this successfully. Right. I want to talk to you about what are the things that you will have to consider when returning to your businesses after this lockdown exercise. I actually believe you're going to go through a very busy period when it first opens doors. It will be busy because people will be in a state of panic and rush. But that first, I imagine, anywhere between 4 weeks and 12 weeks that you're going to be really busy, you have to have a plan of what you're going to deliver. I mean, the level of service that you're going to deliver is going to have to be superb. The provisions for superior safety levels with hygiene, etc., are going to have to be visible in their face to show that you are still taking care. That's going to change permanently in our industry. People are going to want to see you disinfecting your equipment. They're going to want to see it happening. They're going to want to see that you're using, throwaway equipment where it's safer to do so. One-off, something used once and then disposed of. They are going to want to see this, whether we like it or not. People are going to be very conscious about their health. They're going to be very conscious about their hygiene. We are going to have to make sure that they can see us being more hygienic. They're going to have to see us putting in better safety measures. That's all going to have to become very visual. The second thing is there's a lot of people that through this have realized that we have been not kind to the planet. And so they're going to look to see whether we're being more environmentally friendly. Eco-friendly practices are going to have to be out there and loud. And I don't mean pretend. We are going to have to care for this planet, whether we like it or not. This is absolutely something that has been a learning for me, that I've said it many times on LinkedIn, I'll say it again. This is Mother Nature wanting a break from us human beings. And she has asserted herself and has taken the break. And, I think if we don't learn from it, I got to tell you. Anyway, I have very strong opinions on these things, so you'll have to forgive me. If you don't agree, I apologize. But this is just how I think. So we're going to have to change the way we do things. I'm going to have to want you to look at your hours of work. They're going to have to change. Your hours of work are going to have to change. Because now if you're employing people, as far as I'm concerned, at hours where they're not doing anything, you're going to have to look at it. You're going to have to say, look, guys, at this time, we're not getting a lot of customers, but we're turning away a lot of business at this time. Our hours of work are going to have to shift a bit. So involve people Make sure that you take everyone else's concerns on board. You know, working with your staff is important. Making sure that if there are people who are caring for their elderly, or if there are mums that have to do drop-offs and stuff, make it work for your business. Today, and I've said this at every one of my management training sessions, for those of you who know, flexibility, flexibility, flexibility. Great leaders are flexible. You get nothing from your staff if you are inflexible. If you are flexible, they are flexible back. It's quite simple. That's how it works. Great leadership is about give and take. Nothing more. So you'll have to look at things like your prices. After the initial rush, you're going to have to do something because people are going to go into recession. I've already looked at my pricing. I have had to do things like have offers now for people because I've never had to do it in the past. But because money is tight, I've had to do it. There's no choice. You will have to do that. You will have to do it at your slower times. You're going to have to do it with certain services and practices. I don't mean blanket discounts, but I mean clever discounting to help your business. Clever discounting to make sure that you are still affordable to people. Okay, that's not going to go away. Every one of us is going to have to learn that lesson. Right. The trick is to get people to have more services because it solves their needs. You know me, I don't believe in selling anything to someone that doesn't need it. That to me is sales. I'm not interested in that. If you are providing a service that helps someone, they buy it. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to push that at all. If it's a service and it's affordable, people will buy it from you. So as far as I'm concerned, you're going to have to do that in your business. Trimming off the fat of your expenses. My God, is that going to be a priority? In fact, it should have happened, when we first went into lockdown, and that's a whole separate topic. It takes a long time to go through, and I'm happy to do another webinar about that. But you really have to look at your expenses, and a lot of you might ask me that, and if that's the questions that you want from me, that's fine. Cash flow. The businesses that Okay, let me put it this way. There are going to be different reactions during this lockdown. There are some businesses that went into this lockdown and this difficult period with a very healthy cash flow. They went in, what is the cash flow? It's the amount of money you have in the bank that gives you a buffer to ride hard times. Those businesses that were really healthy and had their cash flow and had listened I've been training about these topics for years, how to manage your cash flow, where you have that buffer to survive, they did very well. This is the time to have a conversation with your accountants and say, I never want to go into this type of situation. God forbid that it ever happens again. I never want to be in this position again. So how do we work out in my business to put away a little bit of money each month that automatically goes to a cash flow fund? Those are the businesses that will come out of this lockdown very well. Would you believe if I told you there will be some businesses that will use government funded, I believe there are great loans out there in each country. I've heard of it, and I'd love for some of you to talk about that in Dubai, about what's available from your government, what's available from your banks, about the amount of disruption loans that are available. I know they're available here in the UK, but businesses that were really healthy in their cash flow might think about buying out other businesses. There are people that will come out of this with a very positive point of view. It depends on how you went into the crisis. Then there are some that will just simply stand steady. And that's a large percentage of you are going to stand steady and hold steady. And you look, if you're in a panic, pick up the phone to me, talk to me about it, email me about it. I'm able to talk you through the process given your own personal circumstances. That's not a problem at all. But those of you who didn't go in with that buffer are going to struggle. There are disruption loans out there, conversations with landlords for deferments, payment holidays, all that's well and good. But remember, if you defer a payment, you're still going to have to pay it down the road. If you take a holiday from, taxes, or you still have to pay it. So make sure that you're doing right by your business. If you need to talk it through with someone, I am here. I'm doing nothing in the house, and my children will be happy for you to take some of my attention. Really, they're quite ungrateful, I might say. Anyway, cash flow is king. General culling of services. If you are providing a service in your business that is not making money, you are going to have to look at those services and take them off the menu. It's quite simple. To give an example, in restaurants, basically, I believe Gordon Ramsay has been doing it for years, saying you don't really have to have 300 items on your menu. Just do 30 things and do them really well. That applies to us now. Those words apply to us now. And remember, people have spent a lot of time with their families right now. Now is the time to do deals for people that bring their family members in, especially if you've been communicating with them and helping them with their families' skin issues, hair issues, etc. You've gotten to know them. There is a bit of a bond, and that's the time to do it. Okay, so I can see the questions. I can see there's a few things going on with questions. Emma, could I just say that I will need you back on here about those questions? I don't know if it's my imagination. I can't hear you. Hi.
Hello.
Have there been any questions?
Yes, there have been. Yes. Okay. Right. Let me just have a look. Hello, Nergish. Ruksha Malik says.
Sorry, who's that?
Ruksha Malik.
Hello, Ruksha Malik. Hi.
Please, could you share some ideas on how to be eco-friendly with all disposable tools?
Right. I believe I've done this on LinkedIn recently. I wish I had that link with me just now. Eco-friendly in the sense that, again, it'll depend on each business. But here's what I found. Is there any chance you can pull up my LinkedIn feed and just look through? I think actually, it's in my notes. Can you just give me my notes right now? Sorry, Ruksha, it's going to take me a second to pull it up, but I have actually done this in the past, and it's a very clever way. Eco-friendly ideas. Just give me a moment. Here we go. So here are some of the best suggestions I've had so far. Of course, organic and natural alternatives and products that are certified to be cruelty-free. That's been something that a lot of customers are looking for. Stop using disposable gloves. There are certain gloves that are, there's a brand, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the brand, it was told to me they're gloves that you can repeatedly use that are very effective so long as you've disinfected them, as in they're a different sort of material. Reduce your waste and your recycling. This is something that a lady called Fiona Russell had written up to me and said, for God's sakes, whatever we're doing, if we can reduce the refuse in our business, that would be helpful. Disposable recyclable towels. Now, they've cut down on water bills and electric bills in a lot of businesses. But in different countries, I'm actually told that it's better to be doing your own washing and stuff because the pricing of electricity, etc., is different. So it'll depend on your country as to how eco-friendly that is. Vegan ranges. This is all information from you guys. Culture, working with the team, implementing things within the community. Please stop using plastic cups to drink from. Capes, throw away plastic capes. In fact, use the ones that are washable again or wipeable and disinfectable. Now it'll have to be disinfectable, correct? That's that's the word. Anyway, example, what would be great to see is less packaging from manufacturers. Sorry about that, manufacturers, but they're absolutely right. Please stop using plastic bags for customers. Paper bags is a better answer. Using top of the line, good gosh. Carrier bags, yes, I've told you about that. Taps, please make sure there are no dripping taps in your salons, you know, in your basins, in your showers and beauty salons. If there is a tap that's dripping, fix it. Apparently that's something that's huge. When you're using cleaning products, they need to be easily biodegradable. Turn off your lights. Do you really need to have as many lights on? Measuring waste after each treatment. Actually make sure that each treatment, a facial is measured for how much waste it delivers. You know, body treatments, a haircut, after color, what the wastage is. Laundry bills. Someone actually said your own herb garden. I don't know how that helps us. But there you are. Yeah, that's what I've got so far, Ruksha. I know it's not complete, but I hope it helps and it's a starting point. And of course, if some of you have them, write them up, please, and send them to Emma. I'm sure she'll announce them as they come through. Emma, yeah. Is there another question?
There is. Maria Dowling would like to know where to get the gloves. So if you want to know where you get the gloves from.
Sure. So could I answer that, because I will send you the email from the person that's written it, because otherwise I'm giving one person, you know, there might be other places that do the same gloves, but I will most definitely tell you about it. Maria, you can email me directly. You have my email address. We've met several times.
Okay, fab. Right, another question. Hi Nergish, Michael here from Hooker and Young. Up until now, we have kept our team informed of everything we're doing to ensure the business survives. You said to be very honest about all things to do with business. Do you think some salon owners would be fearful?
I've lost you, Emma. Sorry, Emma, stop. I've lost you for a minute there. So after you said we've been very honest with the staff, I didn't hear anything after that.
Do you think some salon owners would be fearful of talking about the financial situation?
So, very good question, Michael. Of course, yes, people are fearful. You don't have to go into the detail of it. So you don't have to tell them the amount that you owe or the amount it's costing you to keep your salon open. But it is actually fair to say that this is unaffordable for us. We can afford this, and this is how we're planning to make it happen. Even ask your staff if they're prepared to take time off. There are so many people that have said, we'll just take the time off right now. There are, certainly Michael, you're calling from the UK, so there is something called furloughing and stuff. But in each country, I know that it's Ruksha Malik that had told me that the government in the UAE is also helping on this front, and that there are lots of contingency plans in place. So whereas I couldn't tell you in detail, Michael, I don't want you to share numbers. I want you to share the reality of the situation. Does that make sense? So it's about saying we can't afford this, but we can afford this. And this is for how long we can afford it. And the longer this goes on, the more drastic the measures we have to take. In fact, it's why we're asking so many of you to train and improve your skill sets, because we will want to attract more male customers, but there's only 2 of you that can do barbering in the salon. And that's why we want more of you to be able to do it. It's explaining those things that I mean honesty has to come from. People are very obliging. People don't let you down. In a crisis, we're all in the same boat. Everyone's going to be wanting a job. And quite honestly, Michael, if there's someone that is a stick in the mud in your salon, I mean, what are they doing? They're simply making it more awkward for you to want to invite them back into your place of business. So people will be, generally, I find people are extremely helpful. Thank you, Michael, for that question. Are there others?
Yes, there are.
Oh, wonderful.
Good afternoon to all. I'm a hairdresser. Please could you give us some advice how to communicate the guest about diagnosis and consultation?
How to communicate with the guest about diagnosis
and
and
the
consultation.
consultation.
Okay, so okay, that's in my case, that's actually a half a day's course. I'll never be able to answer that effectively. I can give you the top two things that I can say about a consultation. Listen, we don't listen enough. Hairdressers tend to talk a lot, and beauty therapists listen, but then they talk about the stuff, but they don't tend to offer solutions, I find, a lot of the times. So whereas hairdressers don't listen as much, and I'm not making this a blanket set, for all the people that I'm offending, I don't mean to offend. Of course, there are many of you that do it. But as a general rule, through my travels around the country and the world, I have to tell you, it's not a gift that hairdressers possess naturally. I'm a hairdresser, I'm insulting myself as well. We don't listen as much as we need to customers, and therefore we don't know how to diagnose something, because if we haven't listened, it's because we haven't asked the right questions. So to the lady that wrote or the gent that wrote the question, it's asking the right questions and then listening by closing the mouth and just using the ears to listen carefully to what they're saying, and then doing what they require and providing the solutions to what ails them. That's the perfect consultation in the few sentences that I have the time to deliver it. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful question, but there is no way I can cover that topic right now. Thank you. Is there another question?
There is. Do keep the questions coming, guys. We've got another 5 or so minutes. So, Elena, can you explain what would be a clever discount?
What would be a clever discount? It would depend on what you're trying to achieve. A discount is only clever if it gets you to the point where you want to go. If I was giving a discount, I would give it for a reason. If my timing between 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock is my most wasted downtime in my salon, where people don't really come. After 3, I get busy. Before 11, I'm really busy. Then my discount would be aimed to fill that slot. So I'd make my prices more affordable during that time. Does that make sense? So a discount, there is no generic room. What I find upsetting about the words discount is I don't like using them, but I'm a practical businesswoman, and I know you have to give discounts. Right now, believe it or not, I am going to have to discount my services, which I have never done in the 21 years that I've been in business. Believe me, I've never discounted my services. What is the first thing I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to have to make my time more affordable. It's something I've learned. It doesn't matter whether I call it a discount, whether I call it a learning. The fact is, I am going to have to be affordable to be effective. That's the same thing with you. People are going to have to be able to afford to come to us because their jobs have been impacted. So my advice on discounts is this: if you give a blanket discount, it's a waste of your time, it's a waste of everyone else's time, and it becomes pointless. If your discount is given because you're trying to achieve something, you're trying to get Bob, who is a new person in your salon, fully booked, and Bob is brand new, and you offer his services on discount for the next 3 months, it gets Bob fully booked, you stop the discount, you've actually made the discount work. You can give a 50% discount at that stage, a 75% discount to get Bob booked, because your objective is to get Bob booked very quickly, so he doesn't end up costing your payroll. So giving the discount is only logical if it gets you to where you want to go. Otherwise, discounts are pointless.
Okay, great answer. Gary here from Hooker and Young. What are your thoughts on salons providing professional salon colour for home use? Do you hear that, Tony?
I did. You cut out again.
Okay. What are your thoughts on salons providing professional salon colour for home use? A lot of clients are contacting us asking for us to supply.
Wow, Gary, you just want me to hang, don't you? You do know I'm going to get a lot of verbal abuse for this, but you have in fact asked my opinion. I'm going to have to answer it. Right. So I would say that if I was going to do that, My natural instinct is not to do it, but if I had to do it because these were valuable customers and they were asking for it, and I knew that they were people that could handle the coloring process correctly, then it would accompany it with an instruction video. So you send the color off for them, because you obviously have a record of it. You would send them the correct portion of, remember, you're going to have to supply the peroxide, etc. I don't even know what the health and safety implications of this is, but say you get it over to them, having followed those. Then I would like for you to maybe have the facility that the stylist in your salon talks them through the coloring, or talks their husband or whoever's applying the color in the back through it. And it's a service, it's a package that you provide. You'll have to send them the bowl, the brush, the whatever it is, and you charge them for that facility and you send it over. But make sure that there is some way of actually controlling that situation. And it's for specific customers that are your top 20% of spenders, possibly. I figure, Gary and Michael, because I know your business and I know the level at which you pitch it, that if you do it safely, it's possible. I wouldn't randomly send out colors to people because I would worry. Yeah, so it's on a customer basis and on the relationship with the stylist that the customer has. That's what I would base it on. Please don't send me abuse because I've answered in the way that I have. Anyway, thank you very much. And any other questions?
Yeah. I'm a nail technician. What can I do to my customers during lockdown?
Sorry, you're a nail technician. What can I do for my customers during, oh my God, how fabulously exciting. Brilliant. A little video from you for your customers to show them how to keep their cuticles trimmed. Remember, again, you can supply the cuticle trimmers or the little orange sticks that you push the cuticles back with, and talk them through how to do a quick little nail thing. You know something, Emma, have we got even a little bit leeway on time?
Don't worry.
You're going to cut me off at the right time. Can I answer this?
Yeah.
Sorry? Okay, so, sorry?
We have plenty of time, don't worry.
Oh, wonderful, because I'd love to answer these questions. They're very clever questions. So here's something. I saw a post recently that was genius. It wasn't my idea, so I feel rather stupid, but it was a post about someone that was teaching husbands how to give a foot massage to their wives. And what upset me was that no one actually then from that salon sent a little video for the wives as to how to do maybe an Indian head massage for their husbands. You know, it's not just always one way. So I would love for salons to do that, a little treat as to how to do this. So the question from the nail technician was absolutely right. Teach them how to do a mini simple manicure. But if that nail technician then has access to her salon or her products or whatever, you can actually supply the cuticle oil to keep the cuticles moisturized. You can supply the hand massage, the moisturizing cream. You can supply the different colors. It's fantastic. Great question. A real opportunity there for nail technicians. Fabulous. If there's another question? Yes,
there are a few, yeah. How do we make sure it is a win-win for both salon and stylist during these difficult times?
Okay. God, please don't make me say this, but look, I'm telling you, no one's going to win through this. This is not a winning time. This is if we survive, we win. If we learn, we win. If we go out there and become flexible, we win. If we keep our staff employed during this time, we win. If we manage to please customers and keep all our customers after this, we win. If we manage to, I think might follow, we win. It's the smaller wins. And staff, basically, if there are any individual staff listening or teams listening, whatever you do, support your employer right now. Your employer is the one that is holding it together for you. Your employer is the one that has taken the risk, made the investment, put a salon that's that's decorated well on the high street, puts in the money to market it, puts in the money to provide you all with jobs. For God's sakes, support them in anything they're doing, because right now they require the support. Without the employer, there is no job. You get it? So the employer has to be supported with big smiles and a big thank you to the people that have made the investment in the business. There is no what comes first, the chicken or the egg. It is the employer. And it is the person that's taken the investment and made the, taken the risk, made the investment, and is giving us jobs. So please, for God's sakes, yes.
I love the passion, but I completely understand. It's a great answer. Okay, one more question.
Yes.
Could you give us an idea or plan of action after lockdown?
Could you give us an idea after lockdown, a plan or an action plan? I'd love to say this. Someone, a very, very skilled manager at a very, very big spa, a very prestigious spa in London, wrote to me yesterday and today and said, my bosses want me to write a business plan for the future, and I have been asked to go home, and everyone's been asked to go home, and there's something called being furloughed in this country. And they've asked, the employers have asked her to write a plan. And it was interesting because it's absolutely absurd to ask that question, because one, nobody knows when we're returning to work. So it's plucking numbers out of the sky. Basically, it will depend on when we go in. So the key just now is to have a plan. The plan is what I just told you, which is talk to your customers, keep them engaged, talk to your staff, get them upskilled. If there's anything I know right now, it is the more skilled your staff are, when they go back into your business, that's going to benefit you. That's going to make you money. That's going to open up your doors to revenues. That's the only plan I can give you. If there is a deliberate plan that you want, I mean, to an extent, I've actually given you the plan today. What I've talked about is your plan for what you do right now. So reflect back on this video. I mean, that's the only way I would be able to say it. Reflect back on the things that I've talked about. That should be your plan of action for right now. Going forward, it's just taking numbers from last year's results. But I don't know if I'm telling you, for the first 4 to 12 weeks, you are going to be swamped. Just with the basics, the haircuts, the colors, the waxing, in beauty, it's going to be all the hair removal, and it's all those. Make sure that you are well stocked with your staff when you go in first, because you are going to need them, and you're going to open longer hours when you first return back to work. That's a must. You're not going to be able to take everyone immediately, so people are going to have to wait. And so do what you can and make up as much money as you can in the first 6 weeks. But thereafter, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be harder. And well, that's when plans come into place, and that's when pick up the phone and call. That's all I can say. I'll talk you through it then. Sorry, I can see there are more questions going, but are we okay about time still? Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Because I'm muted.
I can't hear you, yes.
I'm just looking through some questions just to check we haven't already answered them. People are asking if you're doing private sessions for salons. Nergish will be, and I will put you in touch.
So, Emma, could I just answer that? I know I'm not allowed to print it. I have got a lockdown offer on my website. Go to it and take a look at it. That it was because I was asked so much about it, Emma, that I had introduced it, but it is a lockdown offer. You cut me off? Oh. So that's the website details. That's all my details. If you guys take a picture of that, and of course it'll be on your screens, go straight to it. And there is a fantastic offer during lockdown. It ends when your country decides to end the lockdown.
Okay, amazing. All right, I think that's everything for today. Thank you so much, Nergish, for an amazing presentation. It's been great to have you. Thank you for your time. For those of you who want to share this with their colleagues, it has been recorded and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So head over to Professional Beauty GCC and you can take a look at all of these, the webinars we've had all week, so you can see them live.
So could I just say thank you to Professional Beauty for involving me in this. I think it's been a genius idea and I hope I've been of some help. What can I say, Emma? Thank you for the exhausting routine you've been through. I've watched and you've been patient listening to all of us yawn on about things, but thank you very much, Emma. What I will say to all of you out there, good luck with what you're doing, and if you save any jobs, you're doing a fabulous service. And last but not least, to every key worker in every country, thank you for keeping our country going. To everyone that's worked so hard to keep us alive and well and safe so far. Thank you, guys. Lovely.
Stay safe and keep well. All the best.